from next week. The latest demand by the group follows the concerns of all teacher unions who have already proceeded on a sit-down strike. After a crunch meeting earlier today, the TUC members here in Accra are already deciding that they may have to withdraw their services from next week if there's no intervention coming through from government on the cost of living allowances. I was there earlier, and this is what I found out. On the JoyNews channel, we are coming to you live from the TUC hall. What you see in your shots now are leadership of about 65 different subgroups that you'd find within the public sector workers union. It's actually a group which constitutes some 27,000 workforce, and today they've been holding a crunch meeting, obviously over issues of labor unrest. If you're with us here on the JoyNews channel, we have fresh detail coming through after this crunch meeting that this group has held this afternoon, threatening that they may go on strike if government fails to address their worsening conditions. Fortunately, a lot has happened, and we're graced to have the General Secretary, Mr. Bernard Ejay, who's here with us to explain what it is that the concerns of the group is. As you can see in the shot, and just if my cameraman could just give you a pan around of what is happening in the hall as we speak, a lot of meetings and sub-meetings going on just to deliberate and come to that final decision if that strike should happen next week. But Mr. Bernard Ejay will break it all down for us. Good afternoon to you, sir. Welcome to JoyNews.
Good afternoon, and thank you very much for having me.
So give us a clear understanding of what it is that we're experiencing in the hall this afternoon. I see that there are so many people from different groups here, but you'd be in a position to give us a background of what actually led to this meeting today.
All right, thank you very much, my brother. As you know, our economic situation have not been the very best for some time now. And the pressure that all this brings on the ordinary worker is now really biting. We know the prices of food items are increasing by the day. The prices of fuel are increasing by the day. And our members are calling on us to do something. So what you see here is the management committee of our union together with the executives of the 65 divisions of public sector organizations that have come together to deliberate on the issues. And simply put, they have taken a decision that they are feeling the pinch of what is going on with the increases in inflation and the fact that their salaries can no longer take them home, the erosion in our incomes, especially due to the 4% and 7% that was given for 2021 and 2022. All that has been eroded away because our projected inflation and how we thought the economy would go has failed, and those were the basis of those decisions. So what we are calling for is what the TUC, we are part of TUC, have called for and have written that government should take steps to reduce or help to ameliorate the suffering that is on the ordinary workers. And the decision has been taken by the structures of the union.
So let's talk about the decisions and what the likely implications will be. First of all, how did you arrive at the decision, and what decision did you put on the table today?
All right, as the management committee met, the decision that has come, which all the divisions have supported, was that we write to the appropriate authorities declaring our intentions to lay down our tools if our concerns are not heard or listened to. And we are going to put together the communication. We'll send it to the Labour Commission, Ministry of Employment, and all those who matter. We'll have a press release, and if you, the media, you'd also get the full details of the decisions that have been taken here. But the bottom line is we are given 7 days, as the labor law requires, that our concerns are addressed. If not, we lay down our tools.
Okay, so basically what might happen, and from what you're telling us now, it means that in the next 7 days, we should expect that if nothing is done to address your concerns, you may lay down your tools. Is that what you...
That's what we are saying, especially our COLA that we are asking for of 20%, which the TUC on our behalf have clearly communicated to the authorities since May Day. And we had a letter to follow up with that. And nothing has come out of that. It's biting. People are suffering. People can take transport back forth to work. People can't buy food to eat. It's really difficult for public sector workers.
How difficult is it? Because a lot of people will question that. People would say we're in that time where we are all having difficulties, so try and adjust and hold on for that.
Well, I believe we have adjusted, and that is why we took the 4% and 7%. It is with that understanding. But what happened to Article 71? What happened when we took 4%? So workers can no more carry the burden. When the banking sector or the financial sector was suffering, there was a bailout.
Yeah, but you agree that, for instance, the Article 71 members have declared a 30% cut, for instance, in their salaries. That's readjusting their personal budget too.
Yeah, let me add to it. The Ghanaian worker is the only group in the equation who don't have the right to increase their salaries to commensurate the cost of living until a year elapses. Traders can increase prices today. Government inflationary indicators changes every single day. Yet the employee salary is constant until it's reviewed. And you admit, and as he said, the 4% and 7% were accepted on the assumptions that inflation would be around 8%. And as you know today, even when the 20% was declared by TUC, inflation was at 27%. And so TUC said, you gave me 7%, inflation is 27%. It means that the cost of living difference is about 20. But today, as we speak, the inflation is about 30% now. So the employee's work income is constantly being eroded due to economic indicators, yet the employee has no right to seek redress. And this is a collective decision. Just as government finds commitment and some projects important and looks for money to undertake such projects, a lot of them, you can mention them, that the same agency, the same commitment that government gives to some projects, you must see this also as an...
So you are saying that you've done enough sacrifice to this? But the indication we're getting right now is that, for instance, the president, as we're learning, has directed that all the labor concerns should be addressed. That would mean that you would have to go into the boardroom again to work out your concerns. Won't you give much more time to government to...
So my brother, this is a structure of the union. We are not of ourselves. We are leaders. We are leaders. We are leaders. We speak on behalf of people. These are the people feeling what is going on. This is what they have said. This is what they have said. Government has been communicated to government. And as my chairman has said, just as they find ways of resolving other issues and projects, they have to find ways for us to resolve this. If they call us, fine, we negotiate. So we will go and sit down and hear. But this is the call of our members.
What are you putting on the table for them? What exactly are you putting on the table?
We are requesting for a 20% COLA to reduce the current suffering. That should be given. That should be given. That's what we are looking at now.
It is obvious that the income is eroded. How? It's eroded because, like I said earlier on, if you were earning 100 cedis at that time that we took the 4%, and you had 4% increment, your salary would have gone up by 104, right? And that assumption was that inflation would have been around 7% or 8%. So even if my salary comes back by 4%, it could manage. But today it is almost 30%. You have eroded my income by about 24%. So my 100 is no more. I've gone to about 68. We are not asking you to give an increment. We say try and restore us even back to the 100 or 104. Before we even come to discuss about, we know the economy is tight, so nobody's asking for increment. We are trying to say, cushion us from that 68, I've lost by 100 up to 68.
Okay. There's a concern about the other labor unions that are already putting out their concerns on the COLA as well. Are you going to join them, or you're going to take an independent action?
Well, for now, we have come out. This is structures that have taken a decision. It's communicated. The TUC also has a structure. Other unions also have. So we've heard what other union, and you could see they also went through their structures. So definitely definitely, if it gets to a point where our concerns and needs coincide, why not? We are all asking for the same thing, and we are stakeholders. So we would all together go and embark on the same actions. And it's not only us, even the retirees. The retirees, because the president promised on a May Day here at the TUC forecourt that the difference on those under 8766 and 247, if you retired in December 2019 and your colleague retired in January 2020, your lump sum will not be the same. You who retire under the new pension scheme, you get a lower a lump sum than the one, and the president promised that they will be paid. Up to today, the pensioners are crying. The system is hard. They also need support. So we are calling for that as well. So 20% for the COLA for those of us who are currently working, and then the difference in pensions for those who left under 766.
Okay, so give us an idea of what will happen next week. Are you able to give us a lineup? Are you starting with armbands? And how
the letters will come with the details, okay. And then when the letters come with the details, the media, you are stakeholders, and so
what you mean to tell us is that something is likely to happen.
Something definitely is likely to come.
But just give us an idea.
No,
we will communicate that to you.
So, are you threatening government basically by this action and this vote that you are
threatening? We are carrying the decisions of our members, and the details of it will be communicated, and everybody will receive it. Thank you very much. Thank you.
So thank you, my brother.
So what's your final message to government on this? Probably a lot of people in authority are watching right now, just to know the exact message you are sending out.
The message we are sending out is that what the workers are going through and expressing is very real, and there's a need to attach urgent attention to it.
And to add to that, 65 public institutions have met, and they have decided today, not us. And this includes, check the list. You can see the logos here. And these are real threats. If government will listen and do the needful, cushion the suffering worker with the COLA, I'm sure that the same team will meet again.
I'm not scared that the IMF program may affect your negotiations.
We don't want to talk about IMF. We don't want to
it may affect
we only want to caution that any negotiations government is doing with IMF, the workers' salaries or wages should not be sacrificed. Well, it's too early to go there.
To say that for now it's on COLA. Let's focus on the COLA. When the time comes for us to IMF, I'm sure we'll do that.
Next week, have you contacted the Employment Relations Ministry?
My brother, the details of everything will come out on Tuesday. I know what he's asking, but I can assure you that on Tuesday we'll communicate the details to you. There are other activities at the TUC level. This is my national chairman. He's also vice chair for TUC. So we will avail ourselves for whatever engagement government wants to have and all that. But our members have spoken, and that is what we are going to work with right now.
And there you have it. We're here at the TUC hall, and as we have it, obviously we can confirm to you right now that over 65 different unions have confirmed that they will be progressing and moving to that stage where they're likely to lay down their tools. And of course, the indications we're getting after this crunch meeting that has been held is that if nothing is done by next week in terms of engagement with government and other stakeholders, then the group will be forced to proceed to withdraw their activities. But they have a tall list of industrial signals that they may be sending across from next week. The indication we're getting from Jubilee House is that the president has asked that all the labor concerns be addressed immediately. We do not know whether that would involve the public sector workers union, but for now, what we're expecting that may happen in the coming days is that you start to see some agitations across 65 different public sector institutions. Let's give you a feel of what's happening around the hall. You can see that clearly a lot of deliberations are still going on. Many people still working out some paperwork to try and see what it is that the local chapters have been saying about the decision to proceed now or next week. That has been on the table all throughout. Where we are now is the hall, and let me just give you a little view of what's happening around so you understand what's going on. You see right now in your shot various leadership deliberating, a lot of talks going on between the various chapters that are in the hall right now. But as we have it now is that likely over 27,000 of Ghana's workforce may proceed on strike next week if government fails to in fact acknowledge the concerns first of all, and also progress to do whatever it is that they believe is needful. The basic demand has been about the conditions of services allowance and the cost of living allowance, which they are actually asking for and putting strongly on the table. So we'll bring you some updates as and when we have them. But Blessed Sogah reporting right now from the TUC hall, where that meeting has just ended amongst leadership of some 65 different unions, labor unions, under the umbrella of the Public Sector Workers Union. Now, the indication we're also getting is that at the bigger level, the Trades Union Congress is also tabling a lot more concerns on the cost of living allowances. It's all coming up, and some of these concerns will definitely be on the table from next week. I guess that's why the president is giving the directive. We'll wait to see what then happens, but for now, we can confirm to you that that resolution has been made by some 65 different labor unions. Well, there's a lot more happening now because the Ghana Nurses and Midwifery Trainees Association, which is the official mouthpiece of all trainee nurses, midwives, and interns as well, says it has noticed that what it describes as notoriety on the part of government, the government of the Republic of Ghana, about the plight of some 92 nursing training colleges with a population of over 80,000 trainee nurses and midwives across the length and breadth of this country in the payment of the allowances. So let's bring you a breakdown of the statement that's coming through to the media as we speak, and we can just roll that on the screens for you right now. Portions of it indicating clearly, first of all, that the National Executive Board of the Ghana Nurse Midwife Trainees Association, the official mouthpiece of all nurses, midwives and interns, has noted with apt notoriety the inactive posture of the government of the Republic of Ghana about the plight of over 92 nursing trainee colleges with a population of some 80,000 trainee nurses and midwives across the length and breadth of this country in terms of the payment of allowances. Now, the statement continues to indicate that we stand as citizens who contribute much to the health the service delivery of this country. We crave the indulgence of the President, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the government of the day, on the halt in the payment of the trainees' allowances since June 2021, which has posed a lot of menaces and hardship to trainee nurses and midwives across the country. Now, they go on to say that we wish to establish with some conspicuity for government to recognize that most parents and guardians actually appreciate the fact that government is paying teacher trainees and midwifery allowances, which have stopped, and they are going ahead to indicate that they are not receiving money for upkeep, with the notion that they receive allowances, hence the need for government to act. Now, the other part of their concern is that one can only imagine what these trainee nurses and midwives have been going through for all these 11 months without allowances. Not only that, training nurses, midwives who are also undergoing training for their 1-year mandatory national service have 9 months in arrears, which nothing has been done about it. So students have also, who have also completed their service, which was in 2021, also have some 4 months in arrears in terms of the payment of their monthly stipend. So similarly, we do know that some students as well have 20 months in arrears and more. So there are a variety of groups that have their teacher training, the nursing training and midwife training allowances in arrears. So the group is actually saying that all efforts to get the Ministry of Health to pay these allowances have been fruitless upon meetings and calls to their outfit since 2021 till date. So the group is therefore urging and using this medium to bemoan to the Ghanaian populace, government and parents and guardians to know exactly the status of the trainee allowances, and they are also asking government to come clear on their demands. Well, let's speak to Adombisa Pascal, who's the national president of the group. He signed that statement. Thank you, sir, for your time. So let's get a clear understanding of the numbers. Are you claiming, first of all, that some 80,000 persons do not have their nursing training allowances?
I appreciate the JoyNews Media House and my members who are watching me live here and the entire Ghanaian populace. Yes, it is a true fact. About 80,000 of trainee nurses and midwives across the length and breadth of the country are being owed their arrears for about 11 months now, which is a year.
So when you say that's the case, I wanted to have also the breakdown, which is why I was asking about the numbers. You point out that some of your members have 9 months in arrears, some do have as much as 20 months in arrears. What's the breakdown? Yeah, just give us a breakdown so we are clear on the numbers.
Thank you very much. Looking at the breakdown, when we are talking of the 1 year arrears, the 1 year arrears is for those final years, those who are in final years. Those who are in their 3rd years now, they are being owed 1 full year. That is starting from last year, June, up till now, they've not received any arrears. Now, with the 9 months, we're talking of the national services. After completion, you have to render a 1 year national service, which is mandatory to the country. And as these people who have rendered their expedient work to the country, they've been owed by government for 9 months now. And when we talk about the 4-year group, those who have been owed by 4 months are the people who completed last year. They offered their program and they completed last year. They were having arrears before they completed, were 4 months. And so now, those arrears are not cleared. So the 4 months arrears is for those who completed while being owed by government. And the 9 months is for the national service personnel who started their national service way back. That was in December. Until now, they've not received their national service arrears. But for the 11 months, is for students, continuous students who are still on campus, starting from last year, 2021, June, up till now, June, which is 1 full year.
1 full year, you say. And you're pointing out in your statement that countless attempts have been made to engage officials of the Ministry of Health. How come you're not getting any response from the officials?
Yeah, thank you very much for the question. Looking at the engagement, it regularly started even from our predecessors. They started engaging the stakeholders because as an association, we believe in the philosophy of dialoguing and non-violence. And we use this means to achieve our results. So our predecessors engaged the various stakeholders to have these issues curtailed. But in several engagements, it yielded no result. So on handing over to us, when we resumed office, we continued with the philosophy of non-violence and then dialoguing. So we contacted various stakeholders on the issues to get to the mitigation of the issue.
Okay, right. I'm giving you a minute. I'm giving you a minute to just appeal to the authorities. I guess that's the notion for which you put out the statement. So what's that clear message, for instance, to the president on the matter?
Please come again.
Your demand in clear terms.
Yeah, we are demanding that the government of Ghana should respond to trainee nurses now because the importance of the allowances to trainee nurses and midwives in the country can never be outweighed. Because trainee nurses are suffering, and this is a lot of people are of the notion that the allowance is just a way to motivate people into the profession. It is not so. That's one of the reasons. But the allowances have a lot of priorities to trainee nurses and midwives. This one is used by trainee nurses and midwives during their clinical schedules.
Okay.
Unlike other professions where people have to go and then relax at home, we will still go to the clinical settings to practice. During this setting, we have to buy consumables such as gloves, stethoscopes, and other things to assist us. We have to even move from distances to the health centers where we have to spend for our transportations.
Right.
So this allows us a lot of priorities, and we are calling on the government that over a year now we have not received any allowance. So you can stick the student as at the moment.
Right. So we'll keep our eyes on that, but we're grateful that you've been able to join us with your concerns. Let's stay on a lot more issues relating to labor and a related development. The Education Ministry is this afternoon locked up in a meeting trying to resolve concerns that have forced pre-tertiary institutions across the country to withdraw their services. The teachers want some 20% in terms of their salaries paid to them as allowances to mitigate the impact of the harsh economic conditions. But as that goes on, President Akufo-Addo has tasked the board of the National Labour Commission to resolve all outstanding labour issues in the country. He wants the commission to be guided by the prevailing economic conditions in the country in their negotiations with organised labour.
These difficult economic circumstances in the country, which is affecting everybody top to bottom, it will take on an even significance, the work that you're going to be doing. I believe that the promotion of industrial peace and harmony is a function of two things. That we establish a balance between what are the legitimate demands of labor, what are the capacities of employment of the employer. Then we can strike a fair and equitable balance between the demand and the supply, as it were. It becomes the most effective way of promoting industrial peace and harmony in our country. And as the Commission has been doing a yeoman's job so far. In the period in which I've been in this office, has performed, in my view, very creditably. I'm expecting that you will continue the tradition of effective engagement that the Commission has already established and help promote industrial peace in our country. Industrial peace is one of the key, and harmony are one of the key elements of a viable and attractive investment climate. And that should be a concern of all of us, how to position our country in such a way as to attract investment, domestic as well as.
Well, let's take you elsewhere this afternoon. At least 3 students at the Medina branch of Ideal College are unable to walk as a result of a major injury from clashes with land guards. On Thursday, dislocated knee bones, deep cuts to the shin, and fractured arms is the state of some of the students who have just been discharged from the hospitals. We're, of course, taking you live to the campus in a bit. But first, though, here's an eyewitness recounting the incident to my colleague, Manuel Kranting.
I'm feeling pains, a lot, pains. Yeah.
Where do you have your injury?
They said dislocated knee. Okay. Yeah. Shifted to the other side. So when I went to the herbalist, and then he shifted it the other way around. And then
you went to a herbalist?
The eye clinic. The clinic is a professional dealing with bones. So he twisted it, and then I heard a sound too, and I screamed there loudly. And then he said it fell to its right position, so I should come with this.
I see. But how did your knee get dislocated?
It was change lesson. That's 11:30, and then it was time for leather work. And then he came in to teach us, and we were solving past questions. So as he was solving the past questions, around 12:30 p.m., we had a hint from the outside our school. That's the other block that is meant for us outside the school. And then they were saying that Prof, our school owner, is outside there fighting for it. And then I said, oh, let me also take a witness to see what is going on. So I peeped through the window to see. I saw one of the landguards slapped him and pushed him. And there, I don't know wherever the spirit came from. And then, I was pissed off. So there was a flame of fire in me, and I descended from the last floor. I'm a visual student. I descended from the last floor. And then I went, and then I also approached one of the landguards, and I disciplined him anyhow I want to. And then one of the policemen used the back of the rifle to hit my knee.
Policeman that hit you?
The policeman. Yes, sir.
So then what happened after that?
After that, a friend of mine, Pablo, he came to rescue me from the car, because there were almost 4 or 5 of them on me. They were using sticks, hitting, and others were using the rifle to hit my leg. So he came behind, dragged me, pulled me. He was with a long sleeve white shirt. So he came and then pulled me, and then I was also struggling on the ground to also see if I can escape from them.
And so that's just the account of one of the students. This gentleman, I think can barely talk. Can you talk?
Yes.
I see. You also were hit with a rifle?
No. I was hit with a stick.
With a stick? Yeah. By who?
The langers.
I see. How did you get there? I thought you're supposed to be in class.
Yeah, so we heard the cry of our director, and we had to rush to rescue him. So just to get there, we saw they throwing our director to the floor. So we had to just rush and pick him up. So as we were about doing so, then the langers used a stick on my back.
Have your parents, do your parents know that this is what has happened to you?
Yes, please, and they've been here.
Your parents have been here?
Yes.
And what did they say?
It seems everything is under control. They are looking forward to our recovery.
And so this is the situation currently here. And you can see quite a number of the students now just, hanging around. Some of them have been telling us that they are really traumatized and are scared of reprisals. Just briefly talk to these ladies here. What's your name?
Also patience and Jerry Wise.
And you?
Hilary.
What's the feeling like? What's the mood like on campus right now?
We are afraid they will come again. We are not okay, like we are insecure.
Well, a lot has been happening. Manuel Crunching has been following the developments for us. I understand he's back. Joins us live on Zoom now. Manuel, first of all, give us some explanation on the clashes that we've witnessed on campus. What official accounts are we getting, at least if not from the Ghana Police Service, but from school authorities on what's accounting for this? You'd have to unmute so we can hear you, Manuel.
Also, Blessed, what we have learned in the past couple of hours since we started following this particular story is that the alleged landguard who had arrived on this parcel of land in the company of other officers who are suspected also to be police officers because they were in a police uniform, began to demolish some structures on a parcel of land which is now in contention and is being reclaimed as a government land. We're told that the director of the Ideal College attempted to ask questions and went right into this particular parcel of land and then was attacked by the officials, if you like, these alleged landguards who were at this point in the thick of things, demolishing the structures. Indeed, some of the students rushed to the scene to attempt to salvage the situation and also secure their director. It turns out that they were also caught in the situation, 3 of them sustaining very serious degrees of injury, and then scores also being injured in the process, although quite minor. They were all hospitalized, but told that just this morning, at the time we're leaving the school's campus, they were discharged, and you just had them share their audio with us and how they were feeling. On the campus, however, there's an easy calm because a lot of the students, even though the Lagoon police station officers have been deployed from there to visit the students on campus and reassure them of their safety, many of them are afraid of reprisals. They feel that these alleged landguards who actually came in a company of other officers in police uniform may return to attack them again. And that is the justification that we've gotten. We've been speaking to a few people who tell us that the reason for this particular demolishing is that the director of Ideal College had attempted, and in fact, we were told quite publicly, had threatened to pull down some walls which were just close by his, facility. This seemed to have been the trigger for these men to have moved in and then demolished his structures, of course, leading to the fracas that has led to this particular injuries.
Terrible injuries, I must say. But what's the state of the students now?
Well, they tell me, these injured students have just been discharged from the hospital. They are currently in the sick bay of the school, being attended to by physicians on campus. There are about 20 or more even of the students who have also secured quite minor degrees of injury, but are also under close monitoring by medical officials just to be able to assess and quite confidently clear them as fit to go back into the classrooms. And so when you take these 3 serious injuries together with the over 20 minor injuries, the remainder of the close to 1,300 student population at that particular campus of Ideal College, they are shocked and, if you like, really spooked. And they would not, at this time, as they tell me, they are sitting on tenterhooks and really just walking on eggshells as they say they are afraid, perhaps. people involved in this attack may return.
Manuel, I guess this would be the time for the police service in the area to provide some protection. Are we seeing any signs of that?
Indeed, while I was on the school's campus, the Lagoon police commander led an entourage of police officers to actually visit the students, the ones who were injured, and the entire student population. We're told that there is a police patrol team that has been stationed just within the close proximity to the school and are watching and making sure that they forestall any possible reprisals. And so that is what we know as of the security situation currently, just at the Medina campus of the Ideal College. However, as some of the students told me, even the assurances by the police officers doesn't seem to have, cleared their minds just yet. We're told by the school's management that they are considering, securing psychological help for the students in terms of counseling for the students who are traumatized at this point, and then also looking at how to possibly beef up security on the school's compound, especially because the West Africa examination, WASI is just around 3 weeks from now, they'll be writing. So suggestions about closing down the school until it is entirely safe to bring the students is not currently being considered by the school because, of course, they have to prepare for the examination. Blessed.
Manuel Kranting bringing us the latest from Medina. Residents of Ampabeni number 1 in the Ashanti region cannot use a new 32-seater toilet facility because a river deity says the commissioning will need a human sacrifice. A priestess serving the Tano gods, guardians of the Bomifia stream close to the facility told Nishra FM that the gods are angry with the residents' constant dumping of waste disposal in the stream. She also says the gods are unhappy with the siting of the septic tank to the facility and will demand 5 lives if the toilet is to be made operational. Nana Iwuku has the rest of the story.
The Ampabame Community Self-Help Toilet Project was started in 2005 in the Jumakwa district of the Ashanti region. It was completed 15 years later due to financial constraints. Assembly member for the area, Richard Ofosuhene, says after commissioning of the project, patronage was low due to the shrine's demand for human sacrifice and had to be locked up.
After completion, we handed over the keys back to the chiefs and the elders of the community because they gave us the money to complete this particular project. After that, I hired someone to come and take care of the project. So after 2 weeks later on that, we heard that the person said people are not patronizing. So we therefore tried to interrogate the person to know why people are not coming. Later on that he showed us that he heard of some rumor in the community that people are saying there is a spiritual or spiritualism on the tourists. Meanwhile, whilst we were doing the work day in and day night time, we did not experience anything of that sort. Some people therefore went in to take off our ceiling fan, but we have fixed it back. And just that our meter for electricity has been taken. This is the fuse that I'm even having in my hand.
The 32-seater toilet facility sits close to the Bomofia stream and a walking distance to the Tano Shrine. The highly polluted Bomofia stream looks choked due to the volume of waste in it. Chief Kojo Echampong is the unit committee chairman. The stream joins other water bodies. Because the residents in this area throw rubbish into the stream, we here do not normally fetch from it. But in other adjoining communities, they fetch from the stream. Priestess of the Tano gods, after what looked like an hour of consultations with the gods, told the news team the facility cannot be operational without human sacrifice. The declaration is scaring people away from patronizing the facility. The assembly member says he will work with some elders of the community to perform the necessary rituals. Here is Richard Fosuhene.
Nana said there is so many spiritual things that should be done. That will be the appropriate way for us to do before commission the facility. So as she has said it, we are looking out for a day to revisit Nana again for her to do those things for us to commission the project.
The 32-seater facility will be the second public toilet in the town to serve the larger population if commissioned. A Wukuma Lakes report for JoyNews.
And let's bring you back to the national capital. At least 34 persons have been quarantined in Ghana as investigations into the outbreak of Marburg virus in the Ashanti region gets underway. Now, those under surveillance were part of contact traced to the suspected cases identified in two separate locations in the region. Marburg is in the same family as Ebola and is very, very deadly. Two persons whose sample tested positive at the Noguchi Memorial Institute for Medical Research are already dead, as we're learning. Further tests are being carried out with the World Health Organization lab in Senegal. So let's bring you a breakdown of a statement received from the Ghana Health Service. Portions indicating that the Marburg virus disease, formerly known as Marburg hemorrhagic fever, is a severe and often fatal illness in humans. Now, you also need to know that it is in the same family, as we were indicating earlier, as the deadly Ebola virus. The average MVD cases fatality rate is around 50%, and case fatality rates have varied from 24% to 88% in the past outbreaks, depending on virus strain and also case management. Now, early supportive care, as we're learning as well, comes with rehydration, and also symptomatic treatment improves survival. There is as yet no licensed treatment, as we're learning, proven to neutralize the virus, but a range of blood products, immune therapies, and also drug therapies are currently under development. Now, what you also need to know is that community engagement is key to successfully controlling outbreak. But there's more from head of our help desk, Fred Smith, who's joining us via Zoom now. So Fred, obviously we know that if indeed the cases are confirmed, that would mean that Ghana would become maybe the second in West Africa recording this case, right? You'd have to unmute for us, Fred, so we can hear you.
Yes, indeed, Blessed. This will be the second in Africa and the first Ghana has experienced. And the details of this case, there are two people in separate locations within the Ashanti region who experienced Marburg symptoms. They passed on though, but the samples taken from them and tested at the Noguchi Memorial Institute for Medical Research tested positive for Marburg. And the samples have been sent to WHO collaborative laboratory in Senegal, and they are conducting further tests to further confirm if this is indeed the Marburg virus. That's how this has happened. But we have experts from the Ghana Health Service as we speak in the Ashanti region. They've started surveillance, contact tracing. And it's a reason we know that some 34 persons have been quarantined.
And I'm getting more interested on the details as to how the infections spread all the way to the Ashanti region, particularly when we know that one of the most frequent visits from outside this country normally happens at the Kotka International Airport. Do we know what the dynamics are and the means of transmission as to why we're having it in the Ashanti region and not the national capital?
Well, Blessed, the host for the Marburg virus, the virus that causes the Marburg virus disease, is the bats. So it will mean investigations are underway though, but most likely you'd have people consuming bats. And that's a very popular delicacy in the Ashanti region there. And they are likely to get it from the bats. So no external links to this yet. It is something that's been discovered in the Ashanti region.
Right.
Because the person may have consumed parts which we know to be their host.
I'm getting scared already about the implications, likely impact even on your reproductive health. Tell us more about that.
Yes, indeed. As part of the advisory from the WHO, persons who have contracted Marburg virus disease are not supposed to be having unprotected sex for up to about a year, 12 months. I mean, and even after 1 year, you'd have to test negative twice before you can be considered to be safe to continue having it, because there's always trace in your semen which you can pass on to your partner. The advice, if you still want to have sex, is to practice safe sex, use a condom, and avoid kissing. And that's the only way. And since that would be very difficult, abstinence is advised.
Anyway, but in terms of the days to come, the measures from the Ghana Health Service, are we getting at least a little info coming through from the Health Service in terms of what it intends to do in the coming days? Do we have any bits and pieces of information on that?
Yes, in the next hour, we will be having an update from the Ghana Health Service. The experts have been on the ground. The surveillance and contact tracing started as early as this morning, and they've been doing it. So we'll get an update, and it's possible those who've been quarantined could go up. And once we get that, we'll get to know the extent to which the virus has spread within the region. Remember, the incubation period for this one is just 7 days, as against what we have for COVID-19, 2 weeks. And so it's easy to detect if someone has had it, except that persons who suffer it suffer abruptly, the fever, extreme headache, and other conditions, and they also vomit profusely.
And curious minds are already asking the question if there's a likely link to lockdowns and restrictions in the wake of a Marburg infection. What are other countries doing to contain the case, and does it include restrictions?
Well, we're not at the lockdown and other restrictions yet, except that the advice is for you to avoid contact, because that's how it spreads. Bodily fluids from one person to the other. So if you you visit places where there's overcrowding, avoid those places. If you are close to people as you speak, maintain social distancing. It's another way, just like we did for COVID-19. And avoid unprotected sex as it is.
Anyway, Fred, would have to leave it here, head of our health desk here at JoyNews. You're still with us on the Pulse. We'll return shortly. Please stay. And Marco Fast Food Limited is set to open its branches to the public again after a month of suspension of their services by the Food and Drugs Authority over reports of food poisoning at their East Lagoon branch. The opening comes after the Food and Drugs Authority expressed satisfaction with the progress made in improving and also the implementation of the corrective prevention actions after an examination of the company's facilities. On your screens now is a copy of a statement released by the Food and Drugs Authority. We'll bring you a breakdown now. Portions indicating that following the verification inspection of your facility at East Lagoon to ascertain the level of implementation of corrective prevention actions, the Food and Drugs Authority writes to inform you that that it is satisfied with the progress made in terms of the implementation of the corrective measures to forestall any future food poisoning incidents. The Food and Drugs Authority hereby lifts the suspension of catering services placed on your facility at East Lagoon. Please note that the Food and Drugs Authority will be conducting follow-up inspections in line with timelines specified in your corrective measures to ensure that you stick with the timelines. And also, we do know that the Food and Drugs Authority will be engaging management further on this matter. But now the Greater Accra Regional Security Council has begun an assessment to demolish some hundreds of structures that are on illegal waterways. It's part of the Operation Clean Your Frontage and also the Clean Ghana campaign, which is being run in partnership with JoyNews. Now, of course, there are some homes that will be destroyed within 1,200 acres of the Sakumo Ramsar site. Now, the area actually holds thousands of gallons of water each year to prevent flooding in the surrounding communities. But this area is now under threat. Now, my colleague Michael Papani has details in this report.
Spanning 3,500 acres, the Sakumo Ramsar site is one of 5 in Ghana. For migrating birds, it serves as a perfect rest stop and breeding ground. Lying between the ocean and the fresh water, it is a conducive environment for sea animals to spawn, particularly turtles. But soon, it may not be able to play these functions. Over the last 30 years, more houses have sprung up in the core zone of the Ramsar. According to a 2019 report by the Center for Remote Sensing and Geographical Information Services, if care is not taken, the Ramsar site may soon exist no more.
But currently, as we are speaking, the core area has been encroached upon. The buffer area is also fully encroached. As for the transition area, it's already full.
Thomas Aqua is manager at the Sakumo Ramsar site. He says the rate of encroachment is alarming.
So currently, the best we can do is to safeguard the core area so that the normal Ramsar site activities can go on and go on well. Once the core area is secured, we will be in the best position to still be recognized as a Ramsar site. But as the whole place goes, it will get to a point where the whole area will be declared as not feasible to be used as a Ramsar site, and that will go against the whole nation.
So quick one. You have indicated that we have 3 categories here.
Yes.
Buffer, transition, and core. How many acres forms the buffer? Have an idea?
We've not looked at the acres.
How many acres forms the buffer?
That one would be with forestry commission.
How about transition? But you're supposed to know. You have that information.
We did a drawings of the whole area.
Yeah, drawings. I'm asking a practical question. How many acres forms a buffer? You're a technical person. Yes. So if you go to United Nations to go and speak about Ramsar, you cannot speak on behalf of Ghana that the buffer is so and so acreage. Are we recognized? Is Ramsar recognized internationally?
Yes.
Assuming Ghana sends you to go there, and then you are asked a question at the conference, and I'm asking you, how many acres constitutes or form the buffer area? And then how many acres is a transition? You are telling a core. How many acres do you know of what's the core? I mean,
the core area covers about 30% of the totality of the size.
Which is how many acres?
It is about 1,200 acres.
1,200 acres.
Yes.
That's supposed to be the core
area
where there shouldn't be
any building whatsoever.
Currently, as we speak, do we still have 1,040 acres left?
We don't.
How many do you think is left now?
What is left is less than 600 acres.
Definitely, the Forestry Commission has not given any permit to anybody here to come and build. We want to make that clear. And so, if anybody is holding a permit to build here in the core zone, please, it is not coming from the Forestry Commission.
According to the Forestry Commission, previous attempts to halt the further encroachment of the protected lands was interfered with. Pele David is the technical advisor of the chief executive of the Forestry Commission.
You think we haven't done anything? I have led a demolition team to this place. The assembly man, the presiding member, the chiefs, land guards came to stop us. Security people came with us, and they brought a court injunction as we are standing now, there were two houses, one was inside and the other outside.
Hold on. Who brought the court injunction?
I don't remember the name, but the documents are available.
The documents are available.
Yes, please.
So we can show it. Hold on.
Exactly.
We can show it to the whole world.
Yes.
That people who have encroached upon a government land can go to courts and can injunct the government agency from carrying out its official duties.
Yes, Honorable. We submit the documents to your office.
But what did your lawyers do when you were served the injunction? How long ago have you been served with the injunction? But you see, that's what makes it interesting. Don't you have a legal department there? And what have they been doing? You have a legal department. The lawyer is being paid. So if you have injuncted, what has he done so far?
You are expecting the owners of the land.
No. You are paying somebody to provide legal services for TDC, okay? And you have been injuncted. So what is your lawyer doing?
We went to court to put an injunction on the building, and the judge refused us, and rather put an injunction on Forestry Commission not to interfere. Let me say that, not to interfere with the people who are building. That is the state to which we have come to, and it is unfortunate. It is most unfortunate that we are being obstructed by the courts to carry out our legal mandate in order to demolish all these illegal structures. I don't know of any big man. I don't know.
But you just mentioned the assemblyman and the chiefs and some people.
I said they
not big enough.
They came to obstruct, but I'm not saying that they have building here. I don't know big men. It's possible. I'm not ruling out that. We haven't done an inventory.
Are they not aiding and abetting illegality here?
The court should decide. That's why we went to court, and the court should decide. But it is a Ramsar site is legally the Forest Commission is legally mandated to manage this. They've tried to use, and the courts have not supported that move.
Ramsar sites also serve as holding bays for thousands of gallons of rainwater from the adjoining communities. Regional Minister Henry Korte fears more areas will begin to experience flooding if the Ramsar site is not protected.
So it means that very soon we'll have to get Amandi, I don't know what sea defense. It's not going to work because now the sea will just flow over the street and then come to all these places. It means that those who are living in East Lagoon, sooner or later will be submerged, if I'm right. Ajay Kojo Ashaman is likely to be submerged. Should there be any heavy rainfall?
So what is happening now is that all this area where you are seeing the construction, these are what we call the marshes, the salt marshes. These are normal grasslands, which is towards the sea. But because of the silting, all these grasslands have extended their surface area towards the lagoon to make it much smaller. So the lagoon is now just like a narrow going into the sea. So it is, most of it is covered by the weeds, and then the silt area is taken up by grass now, which shouldn't be the case. So what is happening is that you no longer have the lagoon play the role of facilitating groundwater recharge. The water is supposed to settle, the resident time increase, then it will take time to go into the underground to recharge the groundwater, so that when we dig wells, we can get water. That is in danger now. That is one of the things we are losing out. Now, all that is, the little that comes now goes into the sea, and should there be heavy rains, there will be flooding, because the water will be looking for areas to occupy. Then it will occupy all this area.
Areas are likely to be flooded in the event that buildings spring up here and then there's a heavy flood. Which areas are we looking at?
Where we are standing now is going to be flooded. This building is just along the boundary line. So all this area is within the core area.
How about those ones there?
Yes, they are all within the core area. The boundary just goes towards that side.
Behind this building, or
I think it just goes along that pole. So TDC had applied for an additional 400.
TDC here. Go ahead.
Yeah, so Tema Development had, Celebrity had applied to Tema Development Corp for an additional 470 acres, which was disallowed. So the wall you see there is an attempt by celebrity to reclaim that land which was disallowed and gazetted. So they are.
So that wall that has been, that parcel of land that has been fenced, has been gazetted. It's a government land. And celebrity has fenced it. Okay, so we have to pull that wall down immediately. I need all the documents to that effect.
Yes, please. We will provide you with the documents. Yeah. Okay.
Do we have other options?
The plan by the Forestry Commission is to enter into partnership with a development partner that has a wherewithal to dredge the lagoon, remove the silt.
And what is holding you from doing that?
Well, we have submitted all to the Minister of Finance for the past 4 years. Is holding us back. Railway line, the coastal road. This is railway line. So we are within this area. Yeah, this celebrity wall, this celebrity, and this is the stream just down here. Yeah, this is a stream. So we are within this area.
And the sluice gate?
The sluice gate is over here. That's where they're currently connecting the lagoon to the sea. Yes.
And that is also blocked? But that's a road made by government.
It used to be a bigger facility. They've narrowed it to 2 culverts, just 2 narrow culverts. And it is also raised too high. And that's causing the silt to settle just in front and then extend further upwards. So the water doesn't settle.
Yes. Need for a re-engineer.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
That is it.
So there's a need to re-engineer that part of the road.
We need to re-engineer the bridge to allow a wider facility and to put in structures that allow exchange of the lagoonal water with that of the sea water. The lagoon water is supposed to be brackish, in order middle between fresh water and the sea water, which is salty. So there are species or animals that inhabit those conditions, and fishes from the sea come to spawn or reproduce in such facility. And when they are young, they just need restful areas, cool areas. The sea is too turbulent with too many predators, big fishes that will catch the young ones.
To save the dying biosphere, the Regional Security Council, led by the Regional Minister Henry Cote, plans to demolish all unauthorized buildings within the core zone.
We will go back from here to be guided by the experts to tell us which area, the distance they want between the transition and the core. If they want to create a new core, that will be up to them. But certainly I can say that some houses will go down to make way for a new core. Those who will go to the air and start talking and they get the lawyers to write big English, please avert your mind to the fact that this is still a government-acquired land. Please. So lawyers, when you are writing, just know that you are encouraging illegality.
Pele David says it will cost nearly $350 million to restore the Ramsar site.
The last estimate we made was about $350 million. And that involved, as I said, opening up the bridge to provide a wider passage and to facilitate exchange of the seawater with the lagoon water, to dredge. The lagoon currently is highly silted, so it needs to be dredged. The seaweeds that you see on the water it needs to be removed, and what you call ecological structures or botels can be located, advantage places for tourist habitation, and that will take the place into a major tourist resort.
The Forestry Commission can only hope that something will be done as soon as possible. For JoyNews, Michael Ashali.
And the Savannah Agricultural Research Institute of the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research has demonstrated 7 new varieties of rice to farmers in the Upper East region. The new varieties, according to the researchers, are water efficient, have an early maturity period, and are high yielding. There's more in the following report.
The Savannah Agriculture Research Institute of the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research released the 7 varieties of rice in February this year for demonstration on rice fields at Tuchuluga in the Busa North District and Gani in the Kasna Nankana municipality. The varieties are named Togo Mashal, Agra Rice, IR 841, and Lagoon Rice 1. The rest are Bewa, Mali Mali, and Savannah. According to researchers, the varieties are water efficient, high yielding, and have an early maturity period, and therefore suitable for the climate in northern Ghana. Dr. Francis Kusi is acting director of the Savannah Agriculture Research Institute.
For rice production in Ghana, it has very huge, potential in the future. Talk of the varieties, we have the varieties that are resilient to the climate effects that we're seeing. Talk of the production techniques is there, right from integrated soil fertility strategies, IPM, weed management, and all that. It's the support for us to push these technologies to the farmers. Some they are seeing for the first time. Although we've released them for a very long time, we don't have support to get them promoted among the farmers.
The demonstration of the new rice varieties was done under a project known as Wagrenova, funded by the European Union. Dr. Edward Marty is an agricultural economist with the Savannah Agriculture Research Institute and the coordinator for this project.
Now, what we intend to do with this project was to address the challenges that has to do with water use among irrigation farming. We have to demonstrate to farmers when to irrigate and also the quantity of water to irrigate. We also try to demonstrate high-yielding rice varieties in the lowland areas of the Tono irrigation site, and this is what we are actually experiencing today. We presented to the farmers different set of varieties that have been developed over the years from Sari. So we try to bring it here so that would kind of demonstrate it to the farmers for them to actually pick their preferences.
Some farmers were selected to grow the new rice varieties as part of the demonstration. This was to afford them the opportunity to experience for themselves the quality of the improved seeds so they could make informed decisions on purchasing them for farming seasons in the future. Some of the farmers were excited by the performance of the new rice varieties, especially with the yields.
After observing, I've seen that
And thanks for staying with us here on The Pulse. We need to cross you over to the Cantonment Police Station, where we understand that some students of Accra Technical, Presec, have been attacked. There's more from my colleague Maxwell Abua, who's there on the grounds for us with the latest. Maxwell, first of all, help us with the details of what we're learning of in that community. Maxwell, if you can hear me, I'm just asking about the details of this recent attack that we are learning of. We understand that it's between two schools. Give us some updates on where you are and what's currently happening. We'll bring you some updates shortly. We'll cross over shortly to Maxwell Abua. But after staying without power for nearly 3 months, the Bepotrim community in the Yendi, in the Wenchi municipality of the Bono region, has been connected to the national grid by the Northern Electricity Department. The community was disconnected after some unknown persons allegedly cut down 2 high-tension poles that extends to the adjoining communities over claims that there was fire on top of the poles. The crew of the community, Nanaya Otechi Abiam, who led a team of community elders to pay for the cost of damages after signing a contract of good behavior at the Techiman Netco office, assured power authorities that the incident will not be repeated. And Asabit was there and now reports.
He was disconnected from the national grid nearly 3 months ago after an unknown member of the community allegedly cut down 2 high-tension thick poles that transmit power to adjoining communities over claims there was fire on top of the poles. Officials of the Northern Electricity Company and the PURC, after picking reports of the incident, visited the community to ascertain first-hand information about the incident. Here is the Techiman area manager, John Mumuni Tahiru, indicating that the community will be without power until they pay the cost of damage as well as produce the person who allegedly cut down the poles.
For anybody to think that it was lack of education that made some two men at a go, this was cut simultaneously. This is a national asset you have destroyed. Besides that, other people are affected. You cannot eat your palm oil and smear other people's white shirts. No. So before you get supply, you will come through with whoever did it, you will pay the cost and sign an undertaking of a good behavior and good conduct before you will get power in this community.
3 months after sleeping in darkness, the community led by the Dikro of the area, Nana Yautechi Ebiam, are here to settle the bills as well as sign an undertaking of good behavior.
Well, let's bring you some updates as we're learning of some disturbances between two schools. Of course, Maxwell Aguba is on the grounds for us, brings us some updates from the Cantonment Police Station. Maxwell, what can you report and what's happening where you are? So what can you report and what's happening where you are?
To you live from Presec La, where we are told of attacks between the Accra Technical Training School, ATTC, at Kukumlemle, and then students of La, Presec. What we are told by some of the students here at Presec La is that sometime within the week, they got a video from students from Accra Technical Training Institute, ATTC, Accra Technical Training Center. They got a video from them, and in that video, they saw some students, it's alleged that some students of the school destroyed, the school uniform of a student from La Presec. So we told that just today, some of the students here also saw a student of ATTC just within around this community, just some meters away from their school. They also caught him remove his school uniform and then destroyed it. That school uniform is hanging there very close to the signboard here in front of the school, hanging there like a flag. So we're told that the students of the Accra Technical Training Center, ATTC, came here in groups to attack some of the students here in the school. But it took the intervention of the police, who were quickly deployed here to quell the situation. But what you can see on the floor right now are some of the big stones that were pelted, that were thrown onto the school compound here at Presec Lab. Let's try and get more understanding of what exactly happened. I have two gentlemen here with me who were here when the incident itself happened. They're going to tell us exactly what they saw. Hi, what's your name?
Yeah, I'm David.
David.
Yeah.
Okay. So tell us what happened.
I was at the Salem Park there, at the back there, the school. I was about to start training, but I saw the guys throwing stones inside the La Presby school. But I thought maybe they were playing or something, but I saw that the thing was serious. So I ran through this area. Yeah, suddenly then I saw that the police were around. So I think they said they caught 21 of the guys. Yeah, but the issue is that they said they caught one of the students. They took off his school uniform and he was wounded.
Which of the students? Is it a student from Presec?
Presby student. One of them was wounded. Yeah. So I think the Presby guys they caught one of them and they took off his school uniform. That's the school uniform over there.
That is a student from ATTC. So that's the school uniform hanging there like a flag. Yes. Now, tell us, how many were they, the ATTC students who came?
They were many.
Like how many?
I can see almost 30 of them.
Yeah, 20 of them.
30 of them. Yeah.
30 of them.
Yeah.
And they were throwing stones.
Stones, yeah, stones over the back of the school, over there. Yeah. So I think the police came inside, so it was cool now.
Okay. Yeah. What did you also see? You also here?
Okay, I'm here, and what is going on around this nowadays is not good, because when you see the situation we are having in this community, especially this school and the ATC's people, like it's a conflict, a war, like I'm watching, because we are at the back of the park watching a ball, we are about to play football, and this incident happened. And I feel bad that these people are the people that their parents are spending money on them to become somebody in future, and now they are turning the country as a war place, and it's not good. Although the teachers are on strike, but doesn't take that advantage to do most kind of things, because so far so good. As I'm talking to you, the MC of this area was here, and also the police commander also was here. So far so good. I can see that they say they are arrested 21 of the students, and they are cantonment, all from ATCs, and it's bad. I don't expect to see those kind of things, because our upcoming generation, what are we expecting? Your mom are spending money at us there, and you are here fighting and doing those kind of things. It's bad. So I think the government and the people of the students also to come together and learn more about it, and to say what they are going to do in the next future.
Okay. So you think that the students are going around doing this because their teachers are on strike?
I can say that, but what I hear, especially the guest prefer saying that the ATC people send a warning on Wednesday that they will be coming here. So they come, but when the teachers are around, like without the strike, when the teachers are around, like they will not do this kind of attitude and bad behavior, because it's I feel pity for the upcoming students that we are expecting to see them better, to see MP or among them, president among them. They are doing this, is bad. See the roadside, they are throwing stone, a lot of things, and it's bad. Go and see the facility of the student, the dome. They spoil a lot of things, throwing stone, and I feel bad. I'm there to watch a football at Salem Park.
Okay.
And
I'll get back to you, but as I stand right now, we've been speaking to police here in La. We're told that 21 students of ATTC are currently at the cantonment police station. We'll be going there from here. But like you heard a gentleman say, he thinks or he believes that the students are moving around, causing destruction and attacking others because their teachers are on strike. Let me find out from, what's your name?
Yes, my name is Kate.
What from?
From 3.
Classes, how is classes going? Your teachers are on strike. What have you been doing?
As far as we came here to train for our inter-houses at Aquinas.
Okay.
Yeah, so we were in the school when the boys came, and they started throwing stone and things. And I don't know what happened. There were many people here, but I don't know what happened at the end. We went to the park. Okay. So they were throwing stone, and I think they beat someone. And
your teachers are on strike, right?
Yeah.
So what have you been doing?
I'm not doing anything. You're not doing anything.
You don't do anything anymore?
Yeah, but I say you should stay in the house so that when the strike is over, then we should come.
Okay, so when you come to school, what do you do?
We don't do anything.
You don't do anything at school?
Yes.
Okay. Let me see if your colleagues would also want to talk to me about what... Okay, they are running away. That was fast. Hello. Okay, so she's not ready to talk. So basically, that's it. As it stands right now, 21 ATTC students are currently at the cantonment police station. When we came here, we saw a police patrol team. They were stationed here, making sure that they calm the situation. Some of them, we are told, have also been deployed to provide some sort of protection for some of the students here who have been moving in groups because they fear that they could be attacked by some of the students from ATTC. So really, that is the situation here at Presec Senior High School, La.
My colleague Maxwell Aguba there giving us the latest and we'll be bringing you some updates shortly. Let's turn our attention to some of the stories. Center for Legal Advocacy Research and Training is set to embark on a 10-unit classroom project in the Greater Accra region as part of its 10th anniversary celebration. This was revealed by the executive director of the organization, Mrs. Jennifer Owusu, who was speaking at an event to mark the celebration in Accra on Thursday. There's more in the following report.
The Center for Legal Advocacy Research and Training has over the years impacted many lives across the country since its inception in March 2011. through its various seminars and projects such as the Clap for Ghana program, Christmas for Kayaye, and Clarion Call for Change, among others. As part of its Empowerment Transformation and Touching Lives program, the organization is set to roll out a classroom project in the capital. Mrs. Jennifer Owusu is the founder and executive director of the organization.
We are hoping to put up a legacy project for our 10th anniversary. That is a 10-unit classroom block in a deprived community in Ghana. So we are working on that, and we hope that in the months following, we will begin and we'll complete it on time. We also have other programs coming up. Our Clarity Mentorship Program. It is a program that will seek to bring mentors together with mentees together and provide mentoring opportunities.
Mrs. Owusu further urged the public, especially the young persons, to contribute their quota to developmental projects.
With this one, the dream has been that even young people will come and volunteer at the project. Okay, either helping with the building, putting in their pockets money and so on, so that we, as we said, get the young people to appreciate that you can have money, save money, use the money, but you can use the money also for good things and not always, think that money is meant to be wasted or something.
Some resource persons who have been providing the NGO with technical assistance in its program spoke to JoyNews about their journey with the organization.
I would love to be part of something that is starting small but is going to become big. And truly, when she started in 2011, I was invited and I was part of it. So it was an opportunity for me also to get to know how one can be a blessing to the people of Ghana.
The way Clary does their advocacy is a little different from what I have seen. I know they do policy, they research, and all. They just don't keep that in the office. They create programs that reach the people, the target groups they want to reach. So they have resource people go to the target group and institute the changes they want to see. So that's the difference with the Clarity programs. And if you're a resource person, every time you go, you come back refreshed because you see the kids, you see them transform right in front of you.
The Center for Legal Advocacy, Research and Training is hopeful to extend its classroom projects to other parts of the country. Mausi Numon's report for JoyNews.
Well, as we wrap up here on the polls, let's talk about the Big Chef, a cooking competition for kids on our sister station, Joy Prime. And, of course, we have some highlights for you.
What did chef say about your dish?
Well, the funniest thing happened.
Tell me.
They didn't say anything, like they were busy on their phones. They were busy somewhere else. So
wasn't your food tasted?
Oh, from what I have heard, most people, when they taste it, they are saying it's nice, it's really nice, it's creamy, it has that nutmeg, it has that cinnamon, and then the design of the garnishing was really cool. That's what people said.
Okay, do you think you make it to the next stage of the competition?
Obviously, I worked my butt off, and I'm sure I would make it to the next stage.
What do you prepare for chef again?
I prepared sausage and egg pot fried rice.
So what did chef say about?
He said it was okay for a toddler, just that the rice was a bit dry.
How did you come up with that idea?
I looked for the ingredients and then I researched on the health benefits of all of the ingredients for a child, and then I just added it and made a dish.
Do you hope to still be in the race?
Yes, please.
So what did chef say about your dish?
He was like, he likes the different kinds of colors for my garnishing, and he was like, he likes the taste of the cinnamon and the texture of the food, and he was like, he really likes my food.
So Abigail, after winning the best dish for today, how did that feel?
I was so happy. I was even surprised because I saw a lot of other dishes and I was like, whoa, am I going to beat this? But when he was like, so the best dish for today was Abigail, I was like, hey, why isn't any other Abigail here? I was so happy. I didn't even know what to do.
So, Abigail, do you think with all these things that are happening to you, you'll be able to make it to the next stage of the competition?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. I know I'll be able to make it.
Well, my dish today, as for today, my dish wasn't so good. So they told me it tastes, I needed some crumbs and sugar in my rice pudding to make it perfect, but I didn't get that, and I'm hoping.
Last year was, this year you need to be on the lookout for it. But let's tell you about what's up this year. Michelle Ejekum is channel executive for Joy Prime, joins me in studio now with more details. Hi, Michelle. So for those who are watching this for the very first time, just give us an idea of the Big Chef. What's it about?
Yeah, so Big Chef basically is a cookery show for kids. So the whole idea is to allow them have a healthy competition. Unlike you go to school and then kids are competing on maybe your shoes, bags, and all of that. This time around, something positive.
Right.
And you know how it's like when you get to school, especially when you have to write essays on how to prepare your favorite meal. And then I remember when I was in class 5, we were asked to write our favorite meal. So then the teacher said, okay, who can narrate
how it's done?
How it's done.
Yeah.
Then one girl stood up and said, oh, I can do this. Okay, fine. What's your favorite meal? She said jollof rice. Now help us prepare it. I mean, verbally prepare the food.
But then, in terms of getting to
can you imagine what she said?
That's
so she said, you pour the stew into the rice. You don't know where the stew is coming from.
Right.
And then, we all started laughing because some of us at that time knew how to, we knew our way around that. But she didn't.
Right.
But, all these things, I mean, after you've had that experience in school and then you know that there's Big Chef, you try to do something. So it's not, you don't have to be the best cook to be part of the competition. All you need to do is to just do something small, try cooking something and then just send it to us. You take a video, you send it to us on WhatsApp, or even you post on social media, that's Facebook, Instagram, and then you tag us. We'd get a picture and then we'd do that.
We'll be getting to the numbers very shortly so that those who are watching can also be a part of it. But do you have any age limits for the Big Chef?
Yes, exactly. So the age brackets is 10 to 15. So that's like upper primary and then JHS. And it's for both boys and girls.
So
I'm sure, anyone at all. I think we've gone past the stage or the ages where we used to think that only girls can go to the kitchen. Let's do not cook.
Yeah, I do. I try. I do something really great. So
you try.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's fine.
Yeah.
So
this is a fine opportunity for some young ones to also learn. But would there be professional advice? I mean, some level of training for judges, all those who would be on
one of our judges
the program.
Is a chef.
Right.
So while you prepare your meals, you're being taught how to present them. All those things are part of cooking. It's not just putting something on fire and then it's done and you're just eating, but how to serve it. And then what those ingredients you're using actually give to the body. So all those things you learn them. The texture of food, the colors you'd have to use, So there's so much to learn. It's more like learning with a bit of fun.
Right.
Yes. So it's something that every child that loves to cook, I mean,
and I'm sure that a lot of people are interested, but then as to how to get onto the first stage of the competition itself is what's in question. So how do I get started? I guess that's the main concern out there.
Exactly. So yes, when you go onto myjoyonline.com, you see the artwork. That's the Big Chef artwork, and then you can just tap on it. When you double click, it leads you to a link where you have to fill the form. After you filled the form, then you can take a video of yourself cooking. Your mom, your brother, sister, or dad can do that for you. And then you send it to us on the number 055 157.
We need to be slow with the numbers so that they would get. So let's take the numbers again.
It's 055 157 5757.
Okay, and what you have on your screens right now is a sample of the form, right?
Yeah, so this is what you see when you double click on the artwork on myjoyonline.
On myjoyonline.com. So it requires you to give some personal detail.
Yes.
And then what else is expected?
So after you've done that, there are terms and conditions that you'd have to read. So when you agree to it, then we know that your parents have consented to it.
Right.
And then after, you can send us a video.
Oh. Interesting. But how about schools as well? I'm sure that some schools would say, okay, we want to have some of our students just join the competition. Even if they are not winning, we just want them to be a part of it.
It's also a healthy way to rally between families and schools, just like the National Science and Maths Quiz Stars. You know, someone is saying, so I know this person, she's in my school and all of that. So yes, even if a teacher is watching and feels that, especially those who have catering clubs and all of that, and feel that, this student is good and can do, the teacher can also do the child a good thing by telling the parents that, hey, I heard this is happening on Joy Prime. I think that your child should go.
Michelle, we need to go, but just a minute for you to send that message out there to the young ones watching and to the parents who obviously may have to take advantage of this program.
Oh, yeah. So if you know that your child loves to cook and all of that, this is the best bet. I mean, moms, dads, siblings, elder brothers and sisters, you can help them by taking a video of them and then sending it to us, to the number I mentioned, 055-157-5757, or you tag us on Facebook and on Instagram. Yeah.
Michelle Ajiman with Joy
Ajekum.
Sorry, with Joy Prime. Obviously, we need to also focus on what's going to be happening over the weekend. Less than 24 hours to mark the Eid al-Adha festivities, and many Muslims already in Techiman municipality of the Bono East region who are used to slaughtering animals to commemorate the season say their plans to celebrate the Salah this year has changed in one way or the other. There's more in the following report.
Eid al-Adha is the biggest and the second of the two main holidays celebrated by Muslims across the globe. It honors the willingness of Abraham to sacrifice his son Ishmael as an act of obedience to the Almighty Allah. With the harsh economic conditions across the country and beyond, today we are in Hausa Line, a predominantly Muslim community here in the Techiman municipality of the Bono East region, to engage Muslims on how they intend to observe this important Muslim festival. Let's get interactive with some of them here on the streets.
To compare this year's Eid al-Adha and the previous years as we have been observing, is something different. Looking at how economic hardship we have entered into, and then the country as a whole, it's going to be very difficult for us.
Just like Mubarak Hashir, Al-Hamid, popularly known as Alhaji Koman, tells me the excruciating economic hardships is affecting the entire Muslim community so far as the Eid is concerned.
For someone like me who have spent a chunk of my life in Techiman, Hausa Line to be precise, this hasn't been the norm. In the past few years, at this time, you see people bringing in their kettle and kids jubilating here and there. Now, this year is not the case. You are seeing a different situation altogether.
He says the high cost of sheep and cattle at the market means a lot of people may not be able to offer the annual sacrifice made by Muslims during the Eid al-Adha.
A lot of people will not be able to make their sacrifice, the normal sacrifice that they have been doing. A lot of people may not be able to do that, considering the excruciating hardship that Ghanaians are going through. In fact, it's been very, very tough.
Both Mubarak and Alhaji Koman are yet to lay their hands on the animals they may be sacrificing this year. They say they are waiting for the last minutes and are hoping for a miracle to happen.
As it stands, some of us, unless God intervene in some of these things, I don't know. But I pray Allah will do something better for me.
In fact, we are all waiting for the last minute, because you go to the market and when you ask about a normal sheep, the price that you'll be told, in fact, you just have to go back and see how you can reorganize yourself. So they are very, very expensive. The animals are very, very expensive.
Samira Hashir is just returning from the Techiman Central Market. She says their goods are not being bought due to the harsh economic hardships in the country.
There is no money in the system, and they don't even buy things. We are just from the markets. No one is there. They don't even get the money. How can they afford to buy anything? So the system is so hard. So the government has to do something about it.
She's worried, however, that the prices of goods, including cattle, has doubled over the past few months, meaning the people cannot afford to make their families happy this festive season.
It's like you're going to buy cow. You know the cow is 2,005. When you prepare with your 2,005, the moment you reach there, they said it's 4,000. How can you afford it? You have case. You have to show them some love. You have to show something. They have to enjoy because it's a time of enjoyment. So how can you get such amount?
And that's all we have for you here on the polls. I am Blessed Sogah. Don't forget to log on to myjoyonline.com. We have updates there for you. There's a lot on your favorite channel, JoyNews, over the weekend, including 3 to 1, which is that entertainment show you should be on the lookout for with Philip 9. It's all coming up here on the JoyNews channel. Please stay throughout the weekend. And we'll see you next week when we return with the polls. Bye-bye for now.